Hello and welcome, this is the British Muslim. You can follow my Instagram link in the description below. That is the best way to contact me. So the second coming of the Prophet Jesus. So this, along with the idea of the Dajjal, the Antichrist, is a very common idea in mainstream Islam, but does it have any holding, any substance when we look towards the Quran? Now, as we know, the Quran is the only source of religious guidance a Muslim should take. I have other videos on that. You can watch that if you like. So now, when we look at the Quran, there quite clearly is no mention, no direct reference to the second coming of Jesus. Now, many mainstream Muslims, many conventional Muslims, will look at Surah 43 verse 61, and it is essentially saying, and indeed Jesus will be a sign for knowledge of the hour, of the end time, essentially. And you can read on. So they take this to mean that, of course, Jesus, that will be the second coming of Jesus. Now, when we read the Quran in its own context without any knowledge of the Hadith, because as we know, the Quran is the only thing we need for religious guidance. So therefore, reading the Quran without the context of the Hadith, or without context of, Christianity and different Gospels, you would not get the idea, the concept, that there will be a second coming of Jesus. And so you can look at the commentary of Abdullah Yusuf Ali on this verse, and he's essentially saying that this is going to be the second coming of Jesus, in the end days, the last days before kind of judgment day, and that he's going to destroy the false doctrines and make way for the universal acceptance of Islam. And so this is, again, a very common concept, an idea that mainstream Muslims like to follow, that for some reason we're waiting on someone else to save us, rather than us taking the initiative to act on our own behalf. And so, again, you'll see this many times in mainstream Islam, where, it's 2.5% zakat, where really the only thing mentioned, an amount in the Quran about zakat, is excess. So it's down to your own understanding and your own genuine belief of how much you should and have donated. And so it's very much, take the pressure off me, just tell me what I need to do and I'll believe what you say. So I find that a very interesting concept. So this is essentially one interpretation of this verse here. Now, it quite clearly doesn't, it maybe hints at the concept of a second coming, but if we read it in its own context, we cannot gain from this the idea, the whole, concrete idea that there will be a second coming. Now, if we go and look at Sam Gurin's concept on this in his book, in his translation of the Quran, it says, and it is knowledge of the hour. And so if we look in the notes, essentially Sam Gurin is saying that he takes this pronoun to refer to what comes at verse 66 of the same surah. Some think that the pronoun denotes him, Isa, meaning Jesus. I do not. We read the book of Matthew, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. And of course, this idea that the end times is only known by God is confirmed in the Quran, and I'll show you in a second. And so others believe this pronoun to mean the Quran as a whole. And so I do think it's a matter of debate whether it means it's referring to Jesus, whether it's referring to the Quran. So that is an interesting topic to talk on. However, if it was saying Jesus is knowledge of the hour, the return of Jesus, if we go down to verse 66 of the same surah, it does say, await, they say that the hour should come upon them unexpectedly when they perceive not, confirming that nobody knows when the hour will be. And so whether you can take this to know that Jesus will be a sign of it and then we will know, I'm not too sure. Again, it's a matter of debate. However, I do think that because the Quran is complete for religious guidance, something so significant would quite clearly be outlined. I think that because this verse can be, perceived as, instead of "and Jesus' knowledge of the hour," it could be perceived as the Quran is knowledge of the hour. It contains knowledge of the hour. I think that the idea of a second coming is baseless in Quran-only Islam. Because quite clearly, if there was something so significant, I think it would definitely be outlined very clearly in the Quran, and it is not. Even from a mainstream Muslim perspective, they only say, oh, the Quran hints at it if you take it in context with the Hadith, which are based on all these Christian ideas. So it's a very interesting topic. That's a basic little quick rundown of it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. It'll be interesting to see. And yeah, until next time, peace.